Hello and welcome back, scholars. Today we're going to revisit the bar graph, and we're going to be able to interpret the data and analyze it. We're going to be able to better understand what the data means. But now we're going to add some components to the graph that we did not mention earlier. Trying to see if you can see this. Okay, this is a better lighting for you. All right, so every bar graph is going to have a title. In this case, the title is Our Favorite Foods. Our Favorite Foods, that is the title. Every bar graph is also going to have labels. The labels in this case are number of students. It could be number of adults. It could be number of children, number of anything. But that's one label. And then another label in this case is foods. It could be colors. It could be pets. All right, so these are the labels. The labels are found on the y-axis. This is the y-axis. That is the vertical axis. And the x-axis. That is the horizontal axis. Horizontal goes from left to right, and vertical is up and down. So y-axis, x-axis. We have the labels, we have the title. We also have something called the scale. The scale has not been drawn yet completely, but we start the scale with 0 generally. And most of the time our scales are going to end with 10. So let's go ahead and add those pieces in at this time. So we have the 0 to make sure that we are placing the numbers equidistant to each other. Then we are going to include that 0 here, put the 10, put this little hash mark for the 10 up here. Let's put it outside of the axes. All right, we have the 10, and let's look at the halfway point. Halfway between 0 and 10 is 5. So that's right about here. Let's see that halfway. Let's see. Let me move it away. Maybe a little bit further down. Okay, we're going to say that that's 5. Okay. So now we can label it a little bit easier. So we know we have to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 between these. So let's place 1 here, 2 here, 3, and 4. Let's move 1 down just a little bit. All of the numbers down a little bit. Okay. And then, because we don't want the numbers too close together. Okay, good. That's pretty equidistant. Equally distanced between the numbers. Now let's see. Midpoint here is about 7. So let's put 7 here. 6 there. 8 and 9. Okay. So now we have our scale. This is our scale, the numbers that measure the data. And then this label says foods. So let's put in our foods. We can have 2 foods, 3 foods, 4 foods. In this case, we're going to have 4 different foods. So we're just going to turn the graph so we can write the words. And we're going to place it away from the 0 so we have room for the bar itself. So when we think about favorite foods of students, a lot of times they like mac and cheese. Mac, we're just going to call it Mac for right now because of the spacing. And we're going to say pizza. And we're going to leave space between each one. Leave enough space for the bar. And we're going to say hamburger, ham, burger. We're just going to call it ham beef for right now. And looks like we might not be doing another food just because of space's sake. All right, so, and you can use different colors if you want. There's no significance in these colors. We know macaroni and cheese is not green, but it's the first color I picked up. So let's say, for instance, let's say pizza was the favorite. Mac and cheese was close by. And let's say that 8 students liked pizza. So we're going to go all the way up to the 8, make a little marker, and then come down. Oops, that's not as straight as I want it to be, but you get the picture. And then, of course, you're going to shade it all in. For right now, we're just going to use these diagonal lines to indicate the shading that has been completed. Then we have the pizza, and again, that was the crowd favorite. So we're going to say that's 10. And of course, there's going to be data that you're going to be looking at. You're just not going to pull it off the top of your head. You're going to make sure that your graph matches the data that was provided. Okay, but this is just your example. All right, so we have our pizza. And then finally, we have our hamburger. And hamburger people liked, but not quite as much as the other. So let's say 6 people liked the hamburger, or maybe everyone liked all 3, but these were the favorites. You know, when you just have to pick just one, maybe you love hamburger, macaroni and cheese, and pizza, but if you have to choose your favorite, in this case, pizza won. Hamburger was the least, and we can say how many more people liked macaroni and cheese as their favorite than hamburger. So we have 8 and we have 6, so there's a difference of 2. Remember that word difference in subtraction? 8 minus 6 equals 2. Anyway, as a reminder, in a graph, in a bar graph especially, we always have a title, labels, the x-axis, which is horizontal, the y-axis, which is vertical, and the scale, which are the numbers. Okay. So make sure that your bar graph has all of these components. We look forward to seeing